Okay, students, now we are going to discuss about the basic components of economics. Uh, we've already discussed about stock markets, we have already discussed about flow and employment, unemployment, all that components. Now, the next component that we need to discuss is what is balance of payment. Now, what is balance of payment? Balance of payment is a called it is BOP in the short form. It is being called as a balance of payment, and balance of payment is a systematic account of a transaction made by residents of a one country with the residents of another countries. Now, whatever transaction we are making between the two countries in a given period of a time, in a year, then it is known as a balance of payment. Now, when we talk about the balance of payment components include the current account, the capital account, and the official reserve account. We will discuss these two accounts, that is the current account. Now, if we talk about what is current account, when we talk about this, current account refers to an account which records all the transactions relating to exports and imports of goods and services and unilateral transfers during a given period of a time. Now, when we talk about a given period of a time, that is in a financial year, that period of a time, and in the current account, if we talk about the what are the different components that are studied under the current account, that is we talk about the exports and imports of goods. Now, the major transaction in the foreign trade is in the form of exports and imports of goods. That is goods. When we talk about goods, we talk about visible goods, which we can see, which we can touch. Right? The payment for the import of the goods are returned on the negative side. Whatever import we are making, the payment for this is being returned on the negative side, and or we can say the debit side, and the receipt and the export is shown on the positive side, that is credit. Right? So we make a balance of payment between, you have learned about in the accounts, balance of payment. You try to balance your account sheet. There what we do, we make an credit and debit entry. Similarly, whatever import we are making, that goes into the debit account, and whatever exports we are making, that goes into the credit account. Now, the first is if we talk about one, that is known as a visible, in the current account we say the visible goods. The second is exports and imports of services. Now, services comes under the category of invisible goods, that includes sale and the purchase by the residents of a country to the rest of the world, payment either received or made to other countries for use of their services. So that is all covered under the invisible trade. Services, generally there are three kinds of, we say the three kinds of services. If we talk about the three kinds of services, that include banking, shipping and insurance. Right? So these are the services that are included in this. So the payment for these services, whatever payment we make, are recorded into the debit side, and the receipts that we get are again being made into the credit side, that is a positive side. Now, the third component in the current account is unilateral or unequated transfers in the form of to or from the abroad. Unilateral transfers includes all the gifts. It includes all the gifts, donations. It includes personal remittances and other one-way transactions that we make. So all that are included into this, which take place without any services in return. Right? So that are included. Then the fourth component is the income, receipts and the payment to and from abroad. It includes the investment incomes that we may, it can be an investment income that we make or we receive. in the form of it can be in the form of interest, it can be in the form of a rent, or it can be in the form of a profits. So all these are the components of the current account. Then we come to the next one, that is known as the capital account. So when we talk about the capital account, when we talk about the capital account, then the capital account records all the transactions between the resident of one country with the resident of another country or the rest of the world that make a change into assets, and liabilities, like liabilities to the resident of a country or its government. It is related to the claims and the liability of financial which are financial in nature. So capital account, if we talk about the capital account, the main components include are, just a minute. If we talk about the capital account, okay, I'll use it here. The capital account, the main components that are used are, we can say, the borrowings and lendings, right? Borrowing and lendings, it includes all the transactions related to whatever made by the private sector or the government sector. Receipts such as loans, repayment of loans by the foreigners are recorded on the positive sides. All transaction of lending to abroad by the private sector or the government sector, lending all repayments to the loan to the abroad is recorded on negative side, that is again a debit side. Now the next component in the capital account is investments. If we talk about investments, investment to and from the abroad, that is to the rest of the world. It shares like the Indian company, real estate in India. Such investment from the abroad are recorded on the positive side as they bring the foreign exchange to our country, and the investment by the Indian resident in the shares of the foreign companies, real estate abroad, etc. investments are recorded on the negative side. Why? Because what is happening, that is an outflow of foreign exchange from our country to the rest of the world. So we record it in the debit side. Now again, the change in the foreign exchange reserve is also there. That is the third component in the capital account. The foreign exchange reserves are the financial assets of the government held in the central bank. A change in the reserves serves as the financing items in India's BOP. So any withdrawal from the reserve is recorded, from the reserves, whatever reserves we have, any withdrawal from that reserves are being recorded, because we are withdrawing, recorded on the positive credit side, and any addition to these reserves are recorded on the negative side, that is a debit side. It must be noted that change in reserves are recorded in BOP account and not in the reserves. Now that is very important for us to understand. The change in the foreign exchange reserves are always being recorded in BOP account and not in the reserve account. Right. So that is very important for us to understand. Now the next thing that we are going to discuss is the rate of a growth. If we talk about what is the rate of the growth rate is an amount which the value of an investment, asset portfolios or business increases over a specific period. The growth rate basically provides you with the important information about the value of an asset or investment, as it helps us to understand how that asset or the investment grows or changes or performs over time. Now that is very important, right? So growth rate is basically the change in the value of an asset and its performance, measuring its performance over a period of time, right? Now the next one that we are going to discuss is the monetary policy. Money supply and a monetary policy. Money supply is a supply that is there in the country in a specific period of a time, and the role of the monetary policy, right? When we talk about the monetary policy, it refers, monetary policy is an action that is being under, who controls it? It is by the central bank. So when we talk about this, So it is undertaken by nation's central bank, and it controls the money supply by the policy which is known as a monetary policy. It achieves to achieve a sustainable economic growth. Monetary policy are broadly classified into two categories. If we talk about that, expansionary and contractionary, right? And this we are going to discuss in our the next chapter, because there is a complete chapter on this that we will be discussing, right? So the next one is the fiscal policies or the government finances. When we talk about the fiscal policy, it's again a government policy, but the tools, unlike the monetary policies, are different under the control of a fiscal policy. It is again for the control of a money supply in a country. The policies that influence the government policies that influence the whereby the government uses the government spending and the tax policies to influence the economic condition, unlike in the case of a monetary policy where we use the different the bank rate policy, the rate of the CRR, that are the tools being used under the monetary policy. But in the fiscal policy, to control the supply of money, we use the government spending, the taxation policy, or you can say they use the other toolkit like the transfer payments. All that basically three tools that are the transfer payments, the government spendings, and the taxation policy. These are the three tools which are being used under the fiscal policy to control the money supply in a country, right? Next we come to the third concept, which is called as a business cycle. If we talk about the term business cycle or an economic cycle, or we also call it as a boom bust cycle, it refers to economy-wide fluctuations. Business cycle is an upward and downward movement. When you talk about the business cycle, it is something like this. You have the movement. You have a movement like this, right? You have a movement like this, whereby there is a upward and the downward movement. This refers to the period of expansion and the contraction in the level of an economic activity. So when we talk about this, if we in a business cycle, when we are talking about this moment, we say when we are moving upward, it is known as expansionary. It is known as expansion. When we reach to this point, this is known as a peak, and this is a point of a we say it's a through point, right? And when we from the peak we again come downwards, it is known as a contraction, right? So this way, what we say, the business cycle is the cycle of expansion and contraction in the level of economic activities or a business fluctuation that takes place around a long-term economic growth. So we measure an economic growth by this, right? So we get an economic growth, and actual economic growth, in between, when we take up like this line tells us the actual economic growth or a growth trends. Now moving forward to the next concept. Okay, now we are going to discuss on the circular flow of income. Now when we talk about the circular flow of income, we are going to discuss first in a simple economy where all the income is consumed. That is a two-sector economy. It is also called as a closed economy because they do not have any relation with the other world, the rest of the world. Whatever is being manufactured are consumed within the economic system, right? And no external trade take place in a simple economic system. The other economic system that we are going to discuss is the circular flow of income in an open economy. Open economic system is a system whereby we have the trade relation with the other world. So what is the circular flow of income? Circular flow of income shows the flow of money. It shows the flow of money from economic activity between, when we talk about the simple household, between the households and the firms, right? That is what. So household receive the payment for their services in this case, that is their income, and the use of the money these household use for to buy the goods and services from the firms, right, for the consumption purposes. This is what we are going to discuss in a simple economic system where all income is consumed. In the simple economy where we assume that the household spends all its income in a consumable goods in the form of a C is the only component of aggregate demand, and we say that C is only that is consumption is only the component of a the aggregate demand, that is AD in a simple economy. Now what we see here, the wages and the profits, that the income is rupees 2000, which is represented by Y. Now this income is completely to the household sectors, and these household sectors are completely spending this income for a private consumption, that is rupees 2000 again, and then again the productive activity is flowing. That means whatever income they received, that is rupees 2000, has already is completely being spent by the household for the consumption purposes. So what we say, that the productive sectors, that are firms, we say these are firms. Now firms giving goods and services to the households giving the factor payment to, in the form factor payments, that are rent, wages, interest and profits, that firms households they are giving factor payments to the firms. And similarly, whatever spending is being made by the household, right, it is being made on the firms. So whatever the income in the when we say that they are providing the services to them, the factor services are being provided by the household to the firms, and for that factor services, if the wage and the profit income is rupees 2000, then this rupees 2000 is completely being spent by the household for the private consumption, is 2000. That means nothing is being saved. So circular, now this is all about the simple economic system. If we talk about the another one where the circular flow of income in a closed economic system, if we talk about this, the second model where we have in scope of not everything whatever being earned is being used in the form of a consumption, then something is being kept in the form of a saving. And what happens in a closed economic system? A closed economic system exists when there is no international trade. That is very important to know. Right now, in this, the same thing, we talk about the firms. Now, firms for the production services, for their services of the household, they are giving them the wages of rupees 2000, as we have already discussed. Now, these households are using only out of this 2000, they are using only 1600 for the consumption purposes. Rest 400 has been used for in the form of a savings. Now, whatever being used as a form of a savings, that is being used by for the purpose of investments. So when we have the scope for the investments, 2000 minus 1600, we get 400. Now this 400 is not being used for the private consumption, but are being used for investment purposes for the productive unit. So it is assumed that the closed economy, there is no government spending or the taxation, because we are right now talking only about a closed economic system. So we are not talking about the government interference. We are just saying that whatever is being consumed and the left behind is the savings, and savings are equal to investments. So that is another, the simple model of a closed economy, where we are giving a scope for the investments and the savings. So there is one more important term, that is what is known as a leakage, and other is known as the injections. So when we injections, injections. So whenever we talk about the leakages, so in this case, for the purpose of simplification, I'll just let you know that when we are talking about the firms are giving the factor income to the people in the form of wages and the profits, rupees 2000. So in 2000, we are saying that the 1600 has been used for the private consumption, then the 1600 will be termed as a leakages because it is being used for consumption purposes, but rupees 4000 that has been used for a saving purposes will be called as injections to the economy because has been used for an investment purposes for the further growth, right? So next model that we are here only, now we are going to discuss in the open economic system. Earlier we did for the closed economy where there was no role of the government. Now we say open economy, one, international trade exists, a closed economy where we do not have a scope for a international trade, but then open economy is a system where we have international trade is possible, where we have an international trade with the rest of the world. Assume there is government spending, and the taxation, we are also assuming this. Now the same example, if we talk about the firms, they are paying in the form of rent, wages, interest and profits, rupees 2000. Household, again same, consumption 1600 is being used. So savings, we say the savings is 200, imports are 100, taxes are 100. So we say the withdrawals rupees 400. The total withdrawals are rupees 400. Now injections, when we talk about 400, so savings will be used as an investment purposes. From 200 it is 180. Now we are saying imports are 100 whereas exports are 110. Taxes, that is the income to the government is 100, right? The income to the government is 100 whereas expenditure of a government is 110. Now what is having, the investment was rupees 200 out of the saving, but because you have less minus 10, you have done imports, you have minus 10 here and 10 here. So what is happening, that out of 200, if 20 goes out, you have the investment of rupees 180. That is what happens in this case. So that is an open economic system, right? Now yes, government income was rupees 100 and the expenditure is 110. So that is how we talk about the open economic system. We have to make all the provisions for investments, leakages and injections. Now we come to the next one, that is known as a four sector economy. Now in a four sector economy is an open economic system. It is an open economic system. Now when we talk about the circular flow of economy, in a four sector, we basically talk about the sector in a realistic picture of a circular flow in an economy. The four sector model studies the circular flow in an economic system which is open in character, which comprises of basically household sectors, firms, it is comprising of firms, household sectors, then rest of the world, household markets for goods and services, the rest of the world, and the business sector, government sector and the foreign sectors. Basically rest of the world is the foreign sectors. So here what we are doing is the same model, households, and here is a firm, but since it is an open economy, here the role of the government is also there. So what we see here is household consumptions are being done. So consumption, imports being done overseas market, there is an export also being done. Then market of the goods and services, basically if we see the consumption, the household also pays the taxes to the government. In the consumption only there is the private savings of the household that is being done. It is being injected into the financial market. Similarly, government expenditures are being done by the households, and then there is an investment expenditure which is again being done by the household to the firms. Now when we talk about the market and the goods, what we say, there is an import and the exports. Exports generate revenue to the firms, and exports you also sell goods and services by the firms. Now firms also have an investment loan from the financial market. They get the investment loans from the financial market. Now government also do the public savings, private savings and public savings are there into the financial market. From the government also do the public savings, and from the financial market there is a public debt also being traveling, right, which is given to the different to the government by the financial market, the public debt. So what we see that there is a complete circular flow. Now these firms generate, we see the market for the factors of the production, we see the resources flowing from this market to the firms. Now firms also give the factor payments to the market for the factors of production, that is rent, wages, interest and profits. We are seeing the household flowing the resources to the market for the factors of production, and then what we see that this payment to the factor income in the form of rent, wages, interest and profits are again flowing to the household in the form of the national income, because rent plus wages plus interest plus profits, that all is being it generates the GDP of a country. So this is all about the four sector economy. I think this is all clear, and we finish with the chapter, and we'll discuss another chapter in the next class. Thank you so much.